All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Macro Perspective. And today I am joined by my colleague, my friend, my brochacho, my random meme based image of a man who's also in love with fitness, Seamus Sullivan. Seamus is new to the podcast. If you're all were wondering, we have not interviewed him ever before, so we're going to flip the script and.
I appreciate being here today. Never been. And oh, by the way, here it's your birthday on the day of this recording. So happy birthday.
Yes, it is. I am turning 24 for the seventh time. So, yeah, that is
That
really cool.
it's
I feel
been.
like I haven't aged beyond that at this point in my life.
I like
But
it.
yeah, so no, 31 today. Been, you know, sitting back thinking about all the things that I'm actually grateful for. And I think the biggest thing is just the opportunity to constantly experiment and dabble in things that I find interest in. That's like really important. I love the fact I can continue to try to take care of my health on a daily basis. Um, and outside of that, I always just appreciate the fact that the world has brought me good people like yourself, Seamus. And, I literally was thinking about it, you're the sum of the five people you spend the most time with. And I thought about like my five core people right now. And they are amazing humans in every sense of the word. Of course, they all do something a little different, which is why it is always of interest to me. And yeah, man, 31. Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's 31 with two kids. It ages you a little bit quicker.
It's different. I can totally feel that. I mean, like most, I'm 30 and I'm just beginning my journey of the 30 into the 30s, and I listen to your wisdom about kids, and spending some of the five people. I appreciate you as well because I don't have that yet, and to get your perspective on it, to get your wisdom and help me through my trials and tribulations, whether that be in my life, my relationships, my career, it always helps to have like a ear to lend, just to kind of talk about those things with someone that's gone through it, is still going through it, and has a better perspective than I would. So I appreciate that. So yeah, man, I hope you enjoy your 31st with those that you love today, and obviously, the weekend and everything.
I mean, yeah, legit. I'm spending it with five of the people that I always hold near and dear, dude. So like when we get this episode, you and I got to work out with Josh this morning. I'm getting to see Adam later today. Granted, he normally should have been there for a morning session for workout. And then obviously spend time with my wife and kids and make some pizza. We were on the fence about what we were going to want to eat. And then I'm just like, Thursday's pizza day. Like we can't, I'm going to splurge a little more than normal and try to make it a little more, I don't know what the word is, a little bit like elevated, right? A little more bit of
Elevated,
an
yeah.
elevated pizza versus one that's a little more macro friendly. Enjoy it that way.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I'm sure, again, certain people I'll talk to throughout the day. My cousin, Zach, a few other peeps,
Yeah.
it's all good. So
I
yeah,
love
man.
it. Talking
What was that?
about talk, I love it, man. I hope you enjoy it. Well, talking about this, I know it's your birthday, and I think it's actually a great segue into the conversation we wanted to have. And this is a conversation we've been sitting on. Um, and for those that are listening, like Marcos and I have like episodes lined up or ideas lined up that might not necessarily be in line with what's current in the news cycle today, but it's still very much like those words were filtered out and they're still going to be talked about. And talking about dinner as a parent, Marcos, and then dinner as just a consumer, there was a
Mm-hmm.
quote. There was a quote. I think that hit us both hard, and we're like, dude, we got to talk about that. Was the CEO of Kellogg's said that people should just eat cereal for dinner. What are your thoughts on that? Cereal for dinner.
Well, from a nutrition standpoint, throw some Fairlife milk on some, Kellogg's non-exist or cornflakes probably would be your best bet. So there's low sugar. I mean, it would be balanced in a sense and not too calorically high, but I mean, you think about it, that meal with the bowl, or I think he quoted like a bowl of cereal with milk and fruit being less than $1 is also part of the quote that he said, right?
Mm-hmm.
This cereal for dinner concept. I mean, look at dude. I'm not gonna lie. There's days where I want breakfast for dinner. I don't have cereal in my house. If I do, It's occasionally Magic Spoon.
Yeah.
Hashtag sponsor us. Just kidding.
Hashtag please.
And again, like even that one, it's like you're you know that it's like, okay, I probably shouldn't overdo this sort of thing. And I think that's for me, cereal, like a bowl of actual, like a serving of cereal, as he's quoting here, dude. I mean, if most people saw it, it's like, this Rubik's Cube sized amount, this like 4x4, right? Like it's nothing, all of what, usually an ounce to 1.5 ounces of actual like weight. And you're getting 160 calories before you put the milk in. So, but I do think this was like, hey, we have to go after was like you said, we have a lot of things floating around, right? This is likely due to the fact that the economy is starting to do what it normally does during an election cycle, and we're seeing some differences with people kind of tightening their spending a little bit more, right? Because of inflation and all those things, right? Yeah. So again, of course, yes, this would be a cheap option, but like no one in their right mind is like, yeah, you know what sounds like a good family gathering? A bowl of frosted mini wheats, right?
No, exactly. I think it kind of, I get it. I get where he was coming from. I get what he was trying to say was like, hey, look, one solution to this economic issue for dinner is like, look, if you really have to go to it, go to a bowl of cereal, you get what you need. If you put some Fairlife milk or like a protein milk, technically, yeah, you get what you need. But it kind of falls on deaf ears. It's kind of like a tone deaf response, because it's obviously beefing his pockets, where it's like, yeah, you're going to get Kellogg's cereal because the Kellogg's guy's saying it. But then second, it's like, it's not in support of for us both, like it's not in support of like healthy habits, or it could be seen that way. It's not in support of it. There could be a way you could spin it, right? But it just seemed very disingenuous, or just very like, all right, that was kind of an off script kind of saying. That's kind of odd,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like again, most people that are eating cereal for probably a meal replacement are maybe looking at costs, and also too, I think this is a good time to kind of think about like branding of things, right? Have you seen the guy on Instagram that like will rebrand popular brands, and he's like, this thing has like 4 or 5 grams of protein, so I'm going to put high protein on this particular
Cheat Day by Design, I think is his name.
Is it?
Yeah, something like that, like Cheat Day by Design. Or he does a great job of rebranding it. So he'll do like a Pop-Tart, for example, right? And then instead of its usual Pop-Tart, it's like made with real fruit, and make it look like a health food, right? Or something like that.
No, Cheat Day by Design is someone that makes healthy recipes from.
No, that's someone else. Yes, I'm forgetting the guy's name. We'll find it in the Instagram later, but he does like a remarketed packaging to make it look healthy.
Yeah, and then it's just like, again, it's like, oh, I can spin Cocoa Puffs because there's peanut butter in here, and it actually has a little more protein into being high protein. And I don't think that's a Kellogg's brand, but I haven't really purchased cereal much in the last, God, I don't even know. I feel like the Cheerios Kellogg's Cheerios.
I think so.
You even have to think about it. Okay.
I mean, I had Cheerios before. I don't know. I don't remember the brand. I don't know, dude. At some point, I feel like they're all just like in cahoots.
Bad. Is that bad branding that we don't know which cereals fall underneath the Kellogg's umbrella? Damn. Okay. Wait.
I remember Frosted Flakes, dude. Frosted Flakes, Tiger. They're great. That's the one.
Yeah, the reason why they're not memorable. Most of the Kellogg ones are trash, bro. I don't eat any of these. Rice Krispies, Frosted Mini Wheats, maybe. That was like
once in a while, and like you'd have to like douse it in milk for that sugar to come out. But then like even then, like
I'm not gonna lie, make me sound old. I'll fuck with the Raisin Bran.
Oh, for sure, dude. You could definitely mess with that. Actually, those were. You know what was. Okay, so the cereals that I had, Honey Bunches of Oats for sure, Cheerios. We did have, but my mom knew like the ones that were sugary. We're like, okay, like we'll step away from those. Once in a while, we had the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, so good. And then obviously Frosted Flakes and then Trix. But the ones that I usually used to have as a kid was the whole like Cheerios, Honey Bunch of Oats. Technically, those seemed healthier, I guess. But once you start really going down the rabbit hole of understanding how food works and everything like that, you're like, it was just branded healthier for you. So talking about that branding with that guy that makes food seem healthier, that's how powerful these companies are, where you look at the front, it says made with
Mm-hmm.
real protein. You look in the back, yeah, it's got protein, 2 grams or something like that, you know? So yeah, like, okay, yeah, it's made with real protein, but it's got,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to get a food group like say carbs or fats, but it's like high in carbs and fats, and then a bunch of ingredients you can't even say, or that are probably ultra processed, but you're saying high protein or natural in the front. So it just kind of comes to show that branding, the packaging is such a powerful thing. Let's see this.
All right, yeah. Let's look what the consumers are saying. Okay, okay. They're upset. A day ago, it tasted better, had better macros with the old recipe. Go back to that. It lost 5 grams of protein. Terrible decision, Kellogg's. You've made enough bad decisions. Go back to the old recipe. And this one has a box that has 10
Special
grams of
K.
protein versus 15. They're cutting cost, and it's soy protein isolate. God
Ew.
Almighty, it's like not even like
Not
I guess
even that good stuff.
qualifies as vegan, right? This is a whole vegan recipe. Yep. So I don't know. I don't know. Soy protein isolate. What's your thoughts on soy protein isolate?
I honestly don't have anything against soy protein isolate. Like I've used it, but I don't necessarily.
Mm.
I mean, the study, like the big 2021 study that came out, where like soy makes you more estrogenic. Like after 35 reviews and like a big meta analysis, they're like, no, it doesn't. If you're gonna have some soy, it's not a big deal. Like, but I don't utilize it. I use bone broth and egg protein as my protein sources in terms of like a powder or like a uh, something else, So
Yeah. I didn't even know. All right, guys. Special K Zero cinnamon cereal. I mean,
I might want to give it a shot, dude. It kind of
I
looks
know.
good, though.
I feel like we need to do an episode. Okay, so again, no publicity is bad publicity. All right, this is literally I've now gone down the rabbit hole and be like, I've never seen that in the store. What's the highest rated one on the special? Why am I at Special K? I just feel like that's like the
I
health
think that's
branded
their
one,
like I
right?
think that's their health one, and I've had that before. The Special K with the strawberry and chocolate chip, like that was pretty good.
That's like
I remember a lot of these products in my household when my mom was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do a weight loss thing," and like that was marketed to her as like a weight loss product, or like if you remember the commercials, they'd be like doing Special K, and like if you look at the
yeah.
old Special K commercials, it would be like they're losing weight eating it or something.
Oh, I know it, and you too can lose weight. All right, cool. So here, okay, for everybody that's watching,
Holy shit!
uh, these are all of them. Never heard of Vector. Never heard of that. Don't even know what Crispix is. I don't think. Actually, maybe I've seen it
I've
more. These are
had it.
little
It's
burger.
like it's almost like little rice thingies. Like yeah, it's like that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what is it?
I
What
didn't know that they had Crave as part of
crispy
their
rice on one side, crunchy corn on the other. Wow.
dude food scientists on something else, bro.
I'm actually a little bit. I mean,
You
this
kind
is
of want to
good.
go shopping and get one of each, and you're like, try it out.
Well, if it's like okay, like rice and corn. Granted, I don't know. I'm gonna have to try that and throw that over with a Fairlife shake
Look
just to
at
see.
go to
Yeah.
Crave. Go to Crave. Crave was something
Okay.
else, bro. It's like chocolate filled little poofs.
Oh. Okay. So the chocolate one rates higher. The cookie dough. That does sound a little trash, to be honest. Mmm. Yeah.
Everyone's
I
kind of
mean,
seeing my upbringing here. Hey, don't blame my mom or anything like that. She was a single mom of 4 boys. Cereals were fine in the house. I turned out okay. I
dude,
turned out
I
okay.
had so much cereal as a kid. But like I mean, we would buy it, and my mom always got so mad. He'd buy like the generic off-brand, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
of like the
yeah.
ones that are in the bags, at Smith's or Kroger or whatever. Um, I did love corn pops though.
Pops, dude. Corn pops, dude. The milk afterwards, crack.
Oh no, you know which one? Okay, okay. Kellogg again got some nostalgic classics in there, but not something that again I like that feel are super
Oh,
memorable.
we're over here like, all right, actually, Kellogg, not so bad. I kind of want to hit this up, but again, back to that saying that the CEO said. I think it still falls on, like you got to really watch what you say, my guy.
Oh, I know, man. Okay, so, dude, Pop Tarts. F with it. Never seen Austin. What is Austin?
Never heard
Um,
of that.
yeah.
Kashi Go Lean. They have that. Oh, it's like
Oh,
cheese fries.
these are
I
those. You should get.
remember those, dude.
Oh my god! Or you can just
They
take a
had those
trip
at
to
my
memory
school
lane.
too.
Okay, Grahams crackers. Holy hell! I thought it was just graham crackers. It's Graham's crackers. Is that like
I didn't know
the
that. I
what's
don't
the name
know
of
that.
that theory again? That the Mandela
Mandela
effect.
effect. Yeah.
Look at incognito. Oh my god. This is
Put
some
that in your
impossible.
tacos.
Oh my goodness.
Make
All
me
right.
jealous.
Wait, was that a
All
slogan?
right.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But okay, I need it. Okay, Seamus, what's your favorite cereal? Since we're in this vein.
My favorite cereal growing, like, yeah, outside of, like, okay, I would say, dude, fuck. Sorry for the language, guys. There's so many, but if I had to say it, the, oh my God, dude. It was either Cinnamon Toast Crunch or the Honey Bunches of Oats, but the almond clusters. Bro, that one was good
Mm.
too.
All right, I think we're gonna take a huge pivot here, and we're gonna make a list of our top fives of cereals, because if we were to eat five cereals in rotation, those are all you get, right? For dinner, what would they be? And again, it's probably something nostalgic. Okay, so all right, I'll stop sharing that. I'm gonna find another thing. We'll make a notepad here.
Put in Chat
Or-
GPT, like,
Oh no, what's that ranking thing, dude? Do you know that ranking app? Um,
yeah, S tier, A
ranking.
tier. But
Yeah.
no, like I would honestly say, like, as a, again, like as a economical solution, it makes sense. But as a health solution, dude, not so much, right? I was listening to that new, well, he's not new, but there was a podcast with Sean Stevenson and this guy named Casey Means, or Callie Means. It's like a sister and brother, but they basically are going after these companies, man. They're basically going, instead of it being like a general broad approach of like, oh, eat healthier, let's make America better in terms of health and obesity and metabolic dysfunction. They're actually going against these companies and taking them to court lawsuits and making sure that like these companies realize like what they say, they have true power. And so they're attacking Kellogg's. Like they're going to like literally say to Kellogg's like, hey, you got to really watch what you say and market it in the right way and things like that. And I think it's important because I think when you think about health, right, Marcos, at the biggest stages,
mm,
health goes all the way up to our legislation. You know, how does legislation want us to kind of get better? All right, let's check this out. All right, put that in there,
uh,
dude. Let's see
there's
here.
looks like the first one here is.
S
All right, I
tier.
need to zoom this in a little bit. All right, Control plus, right? All right, there we go. All right. Well, I guess we just go in the order here. What is this? Apple cinnamon Cheerios. That sounds like trash to me. I'd
I've never
probably a
heard of
C or
that.
D. Yeah,
Yep.
since
Yep.
I've never had it, so it's gonna let's just put it in D. Cookie Crisp, man.
Dude, Cookie Crisp,
Okay,
put that at like S tier, bro.
it's funny. Like I feel like Cookie Crisp is. I don't feel like it's S. I feel like it was an A for me, man. Like
Put it on
it
A.
was,
Put it on A. Yeah.
it was top notch, but like at the same time, Cookie Crisp, like it wasn't as good as a chocolate chip. Like literally, if you could find a way to make Famous Amos into like a Cookie Crisp,
Dude, what the hell? Yeah, it's gonna be
would have been
crazy.
sold. All right,
Special K. Put that at like a C or B or something like that.
All right, okay, I'll put it C.
Kicks.
It's too plain, too
Dude,
generic.
Kicks is like a
Kix.
C2.
Okay,
Apple Jacks is like a B. Could always rely
Okay.
on all Apple Jacks.
yeah, it's all reliable. Oh, I'm trying to. Oh wait, it's not. It's not in there. I don't think we have it in this list. All right, it doesn't matter. Man, I was hoping. Oh no, it's right here. Yeah. Okay. Cornflakes. Again, I'm gonna put that with Special K. That shit's not that great. Count Dracula.
Okay.
Never had it.
Okay,
Never had
so
Count
I'm gonna
Dracula.
tell you this right now. The idea of this one was awesome, but then when you had it, for some reason, the marshmallow was just like a weird thing. So I'm actually gonna put it at like a D because like the expectation was high, but when it was executed, I was like, "What the fudge is this?" Captain Crunch, all forms of Captain Crunch, put that S tier, bro. Put that S tier because it's so good.
Wait, this is
That
plain. This is plain Captain Crunch.
put
This
up B,
is a
put up B, put up like
that's
yeah, A or B or something
A.
like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll it's I don't. It's not S tier. Rice checks, plain old rice checks. This one again, it's just C category. Like
Uh,
you gotta honey nut checks. Is that on this list? I don't
oh
see it.
no.
Honey nut checks is in my S tier, but it's not there.
What's
Okay,
this next one?
peanut butter Captain Crunch.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
like a
good.
solid A for me.
Yeah, solid A.
I'm not a huge peanut butter guy.
And then which
All
honey
right,
bunches
we
was
don't.
this
Oh,
one?
S. You already said it. Honey bunches
I
of
love that
nuts.
one, dude. I don't know why.
That one is with almonds.
Yeah,
So
it was
I think
great.
it does have the clusters.
Rice Krispies, they're okay. I guess it's probably like a D because I don't really do that one.
Same thing. Too plain. Add sugar.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, S
Ooh.
tier for sure.
ARS. Okay.
Mini
My
wheat,
dad always buying the generic ones, bro. So
the mini wheat. Honestly, it's kind of like an Apple Jacks. It's like a B for me.
okay, I'd fight you and say I'd put that in an A tier, but
Okay.
I'll take B.
Honey Nut
Honestly,
Churros
yeah.
was
Okay, I like how this is working out. All right, Honey Nut Cheerios. I mean, this is old classic. Add a little sweetness
I
to it. I like it
yeah
dry. A or
put
S.
it yeah dry too. Dude, dry too was goated. I didn't know that. It's either S or A for me.
All right, I'm gonna say we'll put it at A. We're leaving this exclusive list for ones that are like nostalgic classic. Well, this one for sure is S for
For
me.
sure.
What about you?
Yeah. Put it there. Put it there.
Like I need chocolate with my peanut butter. Like you know what I mean?
Those
This
commercials
literally
were
this is a
goated.
fucking candy bar for breakfast. Like come
I
on.
know.
Like there's no world does that
What's
help.
this next one? I can't see this next one.
Rice Krispie. I've never had this. Rice Krispie treats like the cereal.
I don't know. I put out like I don't think I've had that one. Probably put out D. Like default D for the ones we don't know. Cheerios, normal Cheerios. I always had Honey Nut Cheerios, so I
Okay.
never. I'll just put that at D. Lucky Charms. Okay, Lucky Charms kind of
D.
goes with like.
To me, it's D, but you can up it. We'll rank it up based on where you put it. D for me.
I was gonna
whatever.
put it in. I was gonna put it in B because it was just kind of like all reliable with Apple Jacks. So we'll put it in the C category.
All right. Cocoa Krispies. To me, it's like an A. What about you?
That's the same. I was gonna say like B or A for sure.
Fruit Loops. Don't really like them. That's like a C for me.
Kind of like a B, a C. Yeah.
All right, C it is. Raisin Bran. To me, S. What about you?
Okay. Wildly enough, without the raisins, I love the Raisin Bran. So like an S tier. Yeah. Just I'll pick out the raisins because it was just too sweet. But the freaking just that the bran in the milk was like I don't know. There's something about it.
The Raisin Bran clusters one. It's not on here, so that would be. Oh wait, what is this one? Why is this one 2 scoops? This is actually this one goes lower because it's has extra raisins that you don't want.
I don't know. It was like a weird. It just kind of threw it off.
Golden Crisp.
Never
These
heard of it.
ones. Oh man. All right, since you haven't heard of it, I'm put it in B. It's a low key slapper. Gotta try it. I feel like this is the one that like. Do you remember when they made cereal bars for a while?
Yes.
So I feel like Golden Crisp. No, it's not Golden Crisp. I had one the other day. I saw it and I was like, dude, I haven't had this in a decade. Oh man, I'll have to go back and look at cereal bars. Doesn't matter. All right, let's
Fruity
finish this.
Pebbles.
To me, B.
I agree.
Okay. Cocoa Puffs, A. Solid A.
Yes, solid A. Solid A.
Frosted Flakes, man. I mean, classic. It actually adds that little extra. I'd be A or S here.
Honestly, S tier for me, just because the memories of my brothers and stuff.
It's
'Cause
like
my brother loved that one, dude.
it just held up so well to the cereal. I mean, to the milk. You know, you get a little bit of sweetness.
Yeah.
You know, Captain Crunch berries. Honestly, never had it.
I'll put it like a B. Put it like a B.
All right. Ooh, honeycomb cereal. That's like a solid A. It's a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, holds up to the milk well. Tricks. Just not a huge fruity cereal guy, so I put it like a C. C or B.
Put it at a B. Yeah, for sure.
Pops. To me, they're kind of goated.
Dude, it's a weird one because you think like, that doesn't look good, and then when you have it, you're like, this is goated.
Yep. Cocoa Pebbles. We already had Cocoa Krispies. Probably falls in the same category. Honey Smacks. Ooh, Honey Smacks are again low key, like kind of a to me. I don't know why I like them as an A. They're not as top tier.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
I've never
So
had
there's
them.
a
So,
you never had them. They're man, they're like
all
oh
right,
you know what? So the thing the bar that I'm missing, Seamus, is or the one that's missing here is Golden Grams. Golden Grams, I put it at the S tier, but they have a Golden Grams like cereal bar. Yes, and they tried. I
I
think they
love
even tried to remake it with a protein here recently. Not as good as the normal cereal bar because
I love
sometimes
like how
that
they
like
did the cereal bar and they're like, oh, it's got real milk in it, and it's like, it's like the milk is in the middle, but it's not milk. It's like a
no.
line of white sauce or something like that. It's fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah, we should do more tier stuff like that. We can do that with like exercise selection and shit in the future.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
we're just messing around. Obviously,
So, what are
based
our
off of
top
like
five? Our top five were Honey
oh yeah,
Bunches of
our
Oats,
top
almonds.
honey bunches of oats, cinnamon toast crunch, Reese's puffs, frosted flakes, and pops. We got a top five from it, which are like they're so basic. I feel like you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, but in a good way. I mean, I feel like all the frills ones just
Too much
never
fruit.
quite
Yeah,
too
fruity taste.
fruity or just too much going on. I mean, I'm sure everybody else has different lists, but like again, I feel like dude, cinnamon toast crunch again, game changer. But I love cinnamon toast crunch.
Yeah, same.
Honey bunches. It's oddly enough, all the cereals we picked minus pops like hold up to the milk for a pretty long time. So I feel like there was probably
Okay,
a
no,
process
that's
to it. We pour it.
that. No, that's a weird thing because whenever I had the pops, I felt like the milk was sweeter. So I don't know.
You're not wrong, but I mean like the texture, like you, nothing worse than getting your cereal to get soggy,
Yeah,
too soon after you've poured it.
true,
And if you,
true.
and then someone came out with the ingenious bowl that's like it's a bowl of milk, and the cereal has like its own layer, and you just kind of dump some in, let it sit there, and then that way each bite is like as if you just poured it on there.
Yeah,
That guy. I mean, let's go to Amazon. Let's go.
go buy this. Yeah, I can see what you're
let's
gonna do
go.
for your birthday. You're like, your wife's gonna be like, "Why are you getting cereal for yourself for dessert, honey? Just let me do the thing. I'm trying to do something here."
Man, dude. Okay. We're oh my goodness. All right. These are not what I was thinking. But these would work. There was ones that I mean, I guess
I love
I
how this
wouldn't have
episode
thought.
I thought was going to be like a deep philosophical, intellectual talk on that quote and the economics and choices of human beings, and we're over here like, no, let's go get some.
Well, okay, we're talking about economics here,
Oh,
bro.
this is economics right here, dude.
This is
Dude, this
okay,
looks
look at this.
dope.
Okay, look at this. All right. For my birthday, Seamus, you
You
know
get
what?
yourself a protein shake bar, cereal bar thing, dude. That looks dope.
Okay, put a Fairlife milk in there with your Rice
Yes,
Krispies there.
or
Is this
magic spoon.
because this is on the go? Okay, so you're literally do you just drink it from this?
Yeah, you drink it from it, and then you eat as you go. You could chew it.
It says that it'll tilt back and give you milk and cereal at the perfect ratio.
You tell me how it goes. You tell, dude.
I mean, okay. I think just
Sold.
for kicks and
Convenience.
for shits and giggles, I might have to just try this and see if this is literally something that I would incorporate. So like again, put a Fairlife milk in there, put some again like super basic stuff, and I don't know. I mean, genius.
Dude,
But the
that could
ones I was
be
thinking
good.
was one.
Good pre-workout snack as you're going to the gym. You're like, I don't want to necessarily use like a carb powder, but I want to eat something. So you're like eating cereal and protein milk at the same time.
Oh yeah, this is the one I was thinking of. It's the one that has like a little luge. You can see how that has like okay, you keep the cereal up top, milk's at bottom, kind of just swoop it in there. Game changer. Never actually had one. Looks like it's. I mean, based off of this image, it looks pretty big. No, I don't know. I don't know. And it's only $6, Seamus. I might have to get
Just
it
get both, bro. Just get both.
just to mess around. That was literally the one I was
Dude,
thinking of. Was this tier
I made
one?
a bowl of cereal the other day, but with like chocolate granola because I was like, I want something for dessert, but I did like a chocolate protein granola and then just did that. So I definitely might want that.
Yeah. Well, okay. We beat this over. We beat that portion of this episode over the head with like a dead horse. I feel like yeah. The idea of cereal for all of us nowadays in the health space, I feel like it's a nostalgic thing. Like I want that. That sounds good. It gives me like good vibes and memories. But like again, the idea and thought of like one Kellogg's related items being what we're gonna do for dinner is, again, you guys don't have goated enough cereals. None of those were there that we even put in our top list there. So sorry, guys. Kellogg's, Mr. Plinick. Mm-mm. You're off base, sir. You're off base.
No, I mean, I think the conversation goes bigger, dude. I think like I was alluding to, like the Casey Means, like that family, like they're talking about, like, um, where do most, what kind of, what kind of system is it when they use like EBT, right? Like the EBT,
The SNAP, or it's
yeah,
welfare, right?
food welfare, right? So where do
Food
most of
stamps.
those go? Food stamps are going to like those things. Like most of it is soda and ultra
Yeah.
processed stuff. So I think it's over 60%. So you got to think about this. Like that is a cycle in itself of like low income families are going to use these foods, and that is going to happen. It's it's a bit rough because you definitely want to see a combination of whole foods and these things, but yeah, man, I think most welfare foods are like highly processed sodas, highly, because if you think about it, right, from a caloric standpoint, it's like $1 for a
Hmm.
bunch of calories. Not a bunch of nutrients, but a bunch of calories. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Like, if these are the things that people are spending it on, is it because everything is so scarce and they understand to exist that it is a calorie game, even if it's not optimizing health? It's really, I guess, like they don't even know. Unfortunately, I looked it up with AI. It says, unfortunately, none of the provided search results directly address which specific foods or categories that they spend it on. Um, the information focus overall more on the SNAP program statistics and eligibility, blah blah blah. It should include basic grocery staples like bread, milk, eggs, meat, poultry, fish, etc., cereals, rice, pasta, and other grains, canned foods. Like, so it's just saying that like we don't actually have that. I find that hard to believe,
No, because I've heard
but
those statistics, like where most,
were they
well,
made up? I
yeah,
mean, this
yeah,
this
like
particular
what
AI
is
tool is supposed to, it usually cites sources and it can't find any. So maybe it's
mm,
completely a made up statistic that we've been hearing all
could have
this
been could
time.
have been made up statistic. Even if it is a made up statistic, those are the foods. I mean, from a logical standpoint, that you can just infer cheaper are usually on that EBT or that welfare
Yeah.
system, easier to get. And what are tired and you know what are tired and stressed out families going to do when the kid, as a parent, is like, oh no, I want that soda or I want this? They're probably just going to at some point give in. So
Oh no, we try to limit that. I think that was a good. You brought that question up, and I think I dodged it earlier. It was like, as a dad, like, what do I look at? Would I have my kids eat cereal for dinner? Uh, no, I mean, I try to get them, a plate that has some variety to it. Ari does a better job than Zeke in terms of being able to want different types of food, and will actually eat it. But I mean, lately it's like, I mean, we kind of do it like a bento almost. Like we have these little plates that have little sections, so it's like a fruit, you know, occasionally a vegetable. I'm less concerned about it because, again, it's not something that I have a lot of exposure or variety to. Broccoli is like the vegetable of choice for both of them. And then like a protein and probably another carb. So it's carb heavy, but the metabolism is high. We actually looked at the stats of it, and it's like Zeke is high for height, normal high for weight, which kind of trends. Looks like a bean pole. So I'm not worried about it. Ari, kind of same thing, a little bit lanky, for her age, and then also weight is average for. So I'm like, okay, she's falling in the zones. Um, I definitely may even feel like a good question comes to this, like because of foods that you would get, again, maybe even in a SNAP program, or again that would be related to like eating cereal for dinner. Does it make a case to have a high quality multivitamin for kids? Because
well,
I
kids
don't
have the
know.
fastest amount of metabolism. Like I really think if there's anyone that needs it, it's probably them because they're just growing so much.
Yeah, I mean, but I listened to a lot of things that, like, it was like a 4-part series from like Stronger by Science talking about like
Great series, by the way.
it's micronutrients. Do you really need them? And he's like, I'm still kind of on the fence about it. And it's like, I'm like, okay, like a lot of the standards that came about with regards to micronutrients, which is like the argument for vegetables, right?
It's
Is
like 100 years ago during World War II.
it's based off of wartime, like wartime necessities. Like those numbers are probably low, or they haven't been re-researched to understand what's gonna, actually lead to optimizing health or helping with growth. And again, I would love it to be again more whole food, single food item focused.
Yeah.
And like again, that's kind of the strategy. Like we try not to buy things that have too much to it. It's crazy how the thought and the idea of certain things right now, like I feel like if I restrict it, then they would want it later in life because dad never got me this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think giving them a little bit.
But yeah, but instead it's like, all right, granted it's always at Costco, they want like a Costco size fruit roll up, and they tried it, they're like, nah, I don't like it, both of them. Like oh, this hurts my childhood right here. My kids don't like fruit roll-ups. I would have died to get freaking fruit roll-ups in my house after my mom went through
Okay.
cancer.
Two fruit roll ups. The long one, right? And then there's the one that folded like this instead. Do you remember
Yeah,
that one?
that was, yeah. It's is it still a fruit roll-up technically? The one that's like on the paper like that,
I don't remember which one that one was, but
or maybe that one's fruit roll-up and that one's fruit by the foot.
yeah, fruit by the foot. Yeah, one of them.
Okay.
But dude, those were interesting.
Yeah.
So
The fruit.
interesting.
So they didn't. We got fruit by the foot. They didn't like the fruit by the foot. Um, and then but then we get them ones that are actually like more of a derivative of natural foods, this like bare real like little fruit roll or fruit strips. And
Yeah.
Ari loves them. Zeke is like, it's gummies or bust. But it's crazy because you think it would just be sugar, but no, even then it's like a texture thing, or a way that it's like
Color
hitting the
thing.
palate. Yeah, the
Yeah.
color looks weird. I mean, God, I mean it. The difference between a dino nugget and a bear nugget, like
I don't
it
want
took
that,
forever.
Dad.
Well, yeah, like he was like, I don't know if I want the bear nugget, and I'm just like, because it doesn't have a dinosaur shape, like, um, but yeah, food is really a weird one with kids, and I don't think even if I were to propose the idea of like that for dinner, it's always like we ask them, like, hey, do you? And I
Mm.
kind of give them some choices. Do you want this or this or this? And it's like, ooh, I want that. And the I think the biggest thing you can do is be open to trying to like again. I think the thing that who was that we had on here, I can't remember her name. With like the food
I think her name
stuff.
was also Jessica or Jess.
Jessica,
Yeah.
Jess, yeah. And she was just like, yeah, just keep exposing, just little by little. Literally the other day, I got Zeke to try a pea for the first time. Brittany does not like peas, so I was like, maybe he also does not like peas. He tried it, and he's like, eh. And I was like, okay, well, later in the day, we'll see what happens. He actually brought it up. He's like, you remember how you like made me try that pea earlier? I was like, okay, well, what about it? He's like, it was all right. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, but like literally one freaking green pea. Because I'm like, maybe he will try something different that has a different color on the
Dude,
plate.
yeah. I definitely have to say, being exposed to different foods growing up, my mom loved different cultures and different foods. Man, she'd take us to Indian food, Thai food, Venezuelan food, um, Argentinian. Bro, like there's foods that like I was exposed to growing up, and I grew up in the Philippines, obviously, but like there's other foods here, especially in LA. I think in LA it's so easy because like you can go down a block, and a block has Mediterranean, Hawaiian, Greek, something else, and you could just be like, I could rotate this for the whole week, you know. Um,
Hmm.
some of my favorite foods that like when you look at, you're kind of as a kid, you're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want that, but like talking about peas or like certain things, you're like, actually, it goes really well with this dish. Like for example, like Persian food, like there's these like little things that they put into their foods, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like that, and I just had it with my friends, and I was like, I can't wait to have that again. Like the way they prepared it, stuff like this, it was really good.
When do you feel like? At what age? All right, hold on. Put my clippable version of self looking at the camera. um, at what age did you feel like you actually started creating your own food autonomy choices? Like you were suggesting, let's go to places that were actually creating diversity in your, on your palate, right? Um, I feel like for me, like the first time that I like started opening up into trying new foods was around the age of like 7, 8. What about you?
Um, well, so interestingly enough, my mom was single and she'd go to work, 2 jobs and stuff like that. So I'd actually request that, like certain foods when I was younger. So it was like 7, 8 as
Hmm.
well. But I will tell you, when I started getting on like a health kick of like understanding like what calories were, around 12, because that's like when you get introduced to like health class, right? Like when you're like seventh grade or something like that. And I remember I was like, oh yeah, mom, I'm doing this diet. I'm gonna try this out. Can you give me these foods? And I'd like listen. She's like, what are you trying to do? I'm like, oh, I'm on paleo right now. Let me try that paleo. Like, she's like, you
Hmm.
just want like a pound of meat? I was like, yeah, I just want a pound of meat. Like, she's like, you're so weird. But
Yeah,
yeah, 7 years old.
7 or so. Because like,
Mm.
do you have a distinct memory at that age where you're like, you finally like were like, I'm gonna start trying new things?
Hmm.
Because I feel like for me, the first time it happened, um,
I remember clearly because it was like 7, 8. My buddy, one of my best friends growing up, he did go to culinary school in college, but he was such a chef aficionado even when we were young. So I went over his house and he's like, dude, let me make you this thing. It's called like a banana flambe. I'm like, what is that? And basically for breakfast, he created like a little banana crepe, cinnamon crepe thing. And I was like, oh, I got to do this. And like, that's when I realized I was like, oh, like I used to cook, but I was like, oh, I can cook more. And I like, how do you have these skills? And he kind of taught me. He's like, oh yeah, you weigh it in like this. You use this vanilla syrup. I'm like, oh, and that's when it kind of dawned on me, like, oh, like you can do this. Like you can do stuff, not just like cook eggs and put like your toaster strudel in the oven. You know what I'm saying?
oh
You could like be like a chef. You know?
man, yeah, that's. I remember for me, it was like my parents. It took a few times of like going out to eat with my parents and going to sushi, and then it was at like that 7, 8 year old age. I like still remember. I'm like, what does that taste like? My parents like never were like pushy with it. They're like, yeah, if you want to try it, whatever. Before they would just give me like the rice and like the teriyaki chicken. And then I remember I was like, this is actually pretty tasty, pretty simple. I mean, it was like, maybe it started with like a cucumber roll, I think is what it was. And then it like merged into like a little bit of fish and then into like now today where it's like, you're seeking exotic flavors. And again,
Yeah.
like, I feel like the fact that even with these like perfectly engineered foods that are really things that your kids can be subject to, right? You need to open up these things that can be not so readily available. And I think like that question we asked about the SNAP, what are they most likely buying? And we've heard that one statistic about like most people are buying not water. I think what maybe we're getting confused is like people won't use it to buy water, but they will buy soda because the soda is actually cheaper than the water.
That's what I've heard. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
that's the
right.
quote.
Yeah. And then we're maybe misconstruing that for like, again, are they buying anything else? And again, I would look at this and be like, if I were to, it was a good episode, like, fuck eating on a budget. I know we did that like episode one, but like, how would you be able to like meal prep with Snap? Like, we could go look at like foods that are
Dude,
literally only on
yeah.
that people could then like hit hit a really good amount of like protein and quantity. But what it boils down to, and I think this is something we should also like advocate for and try to get in our community and do, which I know we've talked about it from the nonprofit perspective, is these young kids need to learn how to cook. That is it. I know it was like, ironically, Zach
Dude,
just texted
that's
me and we
yeah.
were we were trying to segue into that, but then we were at like an hour and a half of that first episode we did with them back then. I think we should bring that conversation
We
back
need to
and
bring
talk
that
about it.
conversation back. I One of our performance health coaches was on an episode here was Jason White. He goes, "Hey, can you use Chat GPT for me real quick?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "From 1950s, can you show the percentage increase of ultra processed food bought from markets?" And it went like about 160% increase in the last 70 years. And then he goes, "Okay, can you like scale the graph to like do these things? When did PE classes start like being lost? When did home economics classes? When did chef culinary classes?" And they all trend the same way. Because obviously obesity rates and metabolic dysfunction, the things that America faces, isn't one thing, isn't it? It isn't just on Kellogg's, okay? As much as this episode is about that quote, it's a whole socioeconomic factor of like, yeah, economics classes, they've been deteriorating. That range has been up. PE classes were going up. in terms of them going down, right? So those trends are all up, and they all aligned with the increase of the ultra processed foods being bought and the increase of obesity in America. And it's just kind of like they all tell a story. You know what I'm saying?
Mm, that's crazy. So what was that number again for the stat for the from the 50s to now in terms of like the
It's like 160. You can even have ChatGPT like literally just create it for you from like the 1950s to now. What was the percentage increase of ultra processed foods bought? And then what was the percentage increase of obesity in America? And then everything, just like how many, what was the increase in classes being falling off in terms of economics classes, chef classes, or cooking classes, and like PE classes. That's what I put in, and it all kind of just all trended the same way.
wow, it sounds like we got another episode on our hands. But let's wrap it up, dude. I mean, we'll make this one a little bit shorter, but I feel like we use this time to have a little fun for the and not make it just again. I feel like
Super intellectual, judgmental, and like I would definitely say it was a fun episode. For those listening, yeah, just think about that quote. Like we didn't try to judge it right away. We kind of questioned it, and hey, could we try it? And also, it is a little bit, in my opinion, like all right, it falls kind of like a little tone deaf as a quote.
yeah.
Um, I could see that's why like I think one of my favorite quotes from Lane Norton is I don't necessarily just like the intention. I also need that backed up like action. Like the intention is good, and a lot of people in the nutrition space like the CEO, that intention might have been good, but the action probably wasn't the right action, right? So
Mm,
there has to be accountability, and we need more of that, I think.
we do. We do need to. Yeah, there's a lot to consider. I mean, again, how how do you put yourself in someone else's shoes if you've never lived a day in it? It's really hard to do. And I
Yeah.
don't think it's. I think it's. I don't think it's easy for someone to like be like again the. I don't know. Again, like you just said, like the active advertising of this, like the tone deafness really comes from like there's some people that literally do this already. I guess right? Is that what you're kind of also saying here? But I do think, yeah, how to spend your money appropriately. Like I said, there's a lot of episodes that would again come from this that would be super helpful and stay in touch and how to help those people.
Let's do it.
But like I think that's like really gonna be those ones will be a little bit more philosophical, deeper, and a little more like helpful. I think.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I think from
I
this
think
quote
we
stem,
got more ideas
got
to
more
come out of
ideas
here.
to go into, which is really cool. And
Yeah.
yeah, guys, like, comment, subscribe, give us some feedback. Should we do more rankings? Should we do more tier listing things and ones that we actually queue up with our own pictures ahead of time? Do you want to see us rank machines and equipment and things that we would put? I think everything's just at the S class. Nah. But again, um, yeah, like, are there things that you want to continue to see if we do episodes along these lines? Obviously, we'll continue to have guests and things like that. Um, but yeah, Seamus, any other closing remarks?
Honestly, we appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. We're gonna keep coming out with these, and yeah, just comment below. Let's have a conversation. I think the big thing here is, um, at the end of the day, where our money goes really kind of shows what we support, but also at the same time, you know, we're all here just trying to figure it out on our own or figuring out in our little communities. If you want to kind of be in this community and kind of queue up that conversation, let's keep doing it, because this is how we make integral change, not just from one video,
Yeah,
not just in one person, but a community, and even in our country or over the world overall.
I like it. I like it. And I think my last closing remark here, because you brought up energy, um, energy really is like the commodity that everybody is seeking, right? Time is energy in effect, right? If you have more time to do the things that are for your health, right? Like your energy is going into something that's going to serve you for your longevity, for example. Energy in terms of like how to, again, fuel yourself, right? That's another form of energy. Energy with regards to how you're powering your house, how you're powering your car. Everything in this world really relies on how, I mean, at this point, it's like energy. I've been listening to something here recently that's literally said like, at some point, money should go to money is going to things that provide energy in every sense of the word. And then like that, I don't know why that's like really resonated with me here recently. Right. So it's always like, again, this is an energy exchange. If you're putting out money to something, right? Like it's usually to save you time, right? Or help you feel more energy, right? Like you buy new clothes, right? You're putting out this new energy, right? This new attitude and energy to the world, right? You're buying food, you're putting energy into your system, right? And I don't know, like those are my closing remarks after that energy comment, dude. Like I don't know
Love
why
it.
it's been sticking with me here. Like the
You
biggest
get what you
thing that,
put in. You get what you put in, man.
uh, yeah. So cool, guys.
All
Well,
right,
yeah.
guys.
Again, keep continuing to support. Appreciate all of you that are subscribed and listening. And yeah, until next time, Seamus and Marcos